So first of all, when the child is angry and you leave them alone to calm down, what happens inside them? How do they calm down? So here's the thing. If they're not feeling safe, if they don't have someone there with whom they're safe to really feel the emotions underneath the anger, the fear or the disappointment or the sadness, then, and you go away, they're just going to stuff the anger and all those other feelings. And anger actually doesn't really get stuffed. What they're stuffing is the other feelings, because anger is the body's fight response. Anger says you're in threat right now. So there's nothing wrong with waiting until the fight response is settled down before you talk with your child. The problem is if they're having a fight response because they feel like there's this big emotion and they don't know what to do with it, and they're so sad, or they're afraid, or you've just told them, they can't get to the next level and they're going to go to school the next day and they'll have to tell their friends they weren't able to play the game, and all the other kids will have played it and gotten to the next level and they didn't. So they're afraid that they won't be respected by their friends. If you just let your child be alone with that, the threat response will settle down. They won't feel like there's a threat, but what's their takeaway? Their takeaway is, my parent doesn't care how I feel. My parent left me alone here and didn't care how I felt and how upset I am. And nobody cares when I'm upset, and there's no one I can talk to. And tomorrow I'm going to have this bad thing happen where people are going to disrespect me for this, right? And nobody cares. So you're not actually helping your child by leaving them alone to process it. On the other hand, if your child's in fight mode because there's a big threat and they keep fighting you, they're not going to calm down, right? So it's a hard dilemma, right? If they're in fight mode and fighting with you, they don't calm down. So I think what's best is parents have to stay really calm, so there's no one to fight with. The child can't really fight with the parent if they're not fighting back. And it's fine if the child says, go away, leave me alone. If the parent says, I'm right here when you're ready for a hug. I'm sorry it's so hard. I'm right here when you're ready for a hug. You're safe. You're safe. And then don't move back too far. Don't go away too far. If you just go in your bedroom and you watch TV, or you go in the kitchen and make dinner, your child's going to feel like, wow, my feelings don't matter. But if you stay nearby and you say, I'm right here and I'm ready for a hug when you're ready, your child's going to start to calm down. And then they're going to come looking for you, and you're going to be there with that hug, and you're going to say to them, oh, sweetie, I'm sorry that's so hard. It sounded like it was really important to you to get to the next level of the game. And then your child's going to go, it was. All the other kids are going to, and then I'll be the one who didn't get there, or whatever. So your child feels cared about now. You didn't just walk away and leave them. You were available to them. You also didn't stay right there and fight with them, right? So they were allowed to, the threat response was allowed to settle down, but you're there to help before they're totally calmed down, because if they were totally calmed down, you're not going to get to that upset. They're going to just be like, I don't want to talk about it, because they don't want to get upset again because it didn't feel good, right? So it's better to do it before they've completely calmed down. That means staying available to them. Well, first of all, sometimes toddlers just need to cry. Mm-hmm. So it's not, no matter what you offer them, they're going to say, no, no. And what they really mean is, no, I'm too little and it's too big a world and everything is so awful because I can't ever get what I want and I can't even talk about it. So they don't, they've got a lot to cry about. And it's perfectly fine to just hold your toddler and say, oh, sweetheart, you're having such a hard time. When you're ready, you'll show me. And sometimes toddlers will point to things and they'll show you. And sometimes they won't. They're not able to. And that's just, then you have to help them with the sadness of that, right? So you're not always going to be able to know. But once they calm down, they can often show you. The child is doing fine. They're doing what they need to do. They're processing their feelings by crying. Sometimes we all need to cry. It's a good thing to cry. If you grew up in an authoritarian home, crying was seen as an attempt to manipulate, but it's not. It's actually just an attempt to work through those big feelings. And that's true for adults as well as kids. We all need to cry sometimes to stay healthy. Otherwise, you're carrying all those feelings around in your emotional backpack, and they weigh you down and they make you sick and tired, and that's not good for anybody.